What is the Ark of the Covenant? Have you ever wondered about one of humanity's greatest mysteries? The Ark of the Covenant is precisely that. Imagine an object that not only carries history but also embodies divine presence. The Bible describes the Ark as a sacred artifact, built according to God's direct instructions. Made of acacia wood, overlaid with pure gold, and adorned with cherubim carved into its lid, it was more than a simple chest. It was the place where God met his people. Incredible, isn't it? The Old Testament is filled with accounts of the Ark's importance. It not only held the tablets of the law given to Moses, but also symbolized the covenant between God and his people. Think of it as a sacred contract, deeply spiritual in meaning. This ark was carried by the Israelites during their journeys and battles, and it is said that those who carried it felt a supernatural strength. You can almost picture it, can't you? What's even more intriguing is that the ark wasn't an ordinary object. Strict rules governed its use and transport. Only the Levites, a specific group of priests, were allowed to touch or carry it. Any deviation from these rules could be fatal. Have you heard the story of Uzzah, who touched the ark to stop it from falling and was struck dead? The message was clear. The ark was not just an artifact, but something profoundly sacred. But what made the ark so powerful? The answer lies in its symbolism and the faith it represented. The ark was seen as God's throne on earth, a point of contact between the divine and humanity. During battles, it was a symbol of trust, a reminder that God was present. The weight of this history is almost tangible, isn't it? Now, you might be wondering, what happened to it? If it was so important, why did it disappear? Hold on to that curiosity, because we'll dive into it in the coming sections. First, let's explore its origins and how it was constructed. Biblical origins, accounts in the Old Testament. To understand the Ark of the Covenant, we need to travel back in time to the Old Testament, specifically to when God gave the tablets of the law to Moses on Mount Sinai. Can you picture the scene? Lightning, thunder, a mountain shrouded in clouds. In the midst of all this, God provided detailed instructions for the construction of the Arkansas. Nothing was left to chance. From the type of wood to the design of the cherubim, everything was divinely planned. The ark was built as part of the tabernacle, the portable sanctuary that accompanied the Israelites in the wilderness. Alongside the tablets of the law, it also contained a jar of manna, the bread from heaven, and Aaron's staff, which had miraculously blossomed. Each item held special meaning. For example, the manna symbolized divine provision, and the staff represented spiritual leadership. Isn't it fascinating how every detail had a purpose? And don't think the ark was just a beautiful object. It played a key role in significant ceremonies, such as Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. On this day, the high priest would enter the Holy of Holies, the most sacred part of the tabernacle, and sprinkle blood on the ark's lid, symbolizing reconciliation between God and his people. This lid, known as the mercy seat, was where God spoke to Moses, a true direct line to the divine. Additionally, the ark was central to the Israelites' organization. It was always carried at the front during journeys and battles, serving as a symbol of protection. When the Israelites crossed the Jordan River, for example, the ark was carried ahead and the waters parted, allowing them to cross on dry ground. Imagine the impact of such an event. To them, it was living proof that God was in control. Now, think about this. If the ark was so central to Israel's life, what happened when it was misused? Stories like the defeat at Ai and the ark's capture by the Philistines show that it wasn't a magic charm. Its power depended on obedience and the covenant with God. Let's continue exploring how it influenced Israel's history. The ark's role in Israel's history. The Ark of the Covenant wasn't just a symbol, it was also a practical and spiritual tool. It led the people of Israel, guiding them during their 40 years in the wilderness. Whenever the tabernacle was set up or dismantled, the ark took center stage. This shows how it was the heart of the Israelites' spiritual life. But wait, there's more. Did you know it was carried into battles as a kind of spiritual shield? One of the most iconic stories is the conquest of Jericho. Remember the walls that came tumbling down? The ark was there. The priests marched around the city for 7 days, carrying the ark and blowing trumpets. On the seventh day, the walls collapsed. This story vividly illustrates how the ark was a symbol of God's presence and power. But the ark didn't always bring victories. When the Philistines captured it, what seemed like a trophy of war turned into a nightmare. Wherever they took it, disasters followed. Idols toppled, plagues spread, and panic ensued. In the end, the Philistines returned the ark, acknowledging it wasn't an ordinary object. Quite a lesson, don't you think? Another pivotal moment was the construction of Solomon's temple. The ark was placed in the Holy of Holies, a space so sacred that only the high priest could enter it once a year. There, it represented God's presence among his people. But what happened after that? Well, the ark's disappearance remains one of history's greatest mysteries. Feeling curious? Stick with me, because now we'll delve into the theological meanings and symbolism behind the Arkansas. After all, what did it truly represent to the Israelites and future generations? Before we continue, leave your like and subscribe to the channel to be blessed with more videos to inspire your life. Mysteries and theological symbolism. The Ark of the Covenant isn't just a physical object. For many, it represents a direct connection between God and humanity. Imagine this, an artifact that symbolizes divine commitment to his people, something that transcends time and space. In the Old Testament, the Ark is described as God's throne on earth. Even more, it was surrounded by an aura of mystery and reverence. After all, we're talking about something that literally carried the divine presence. Symbolically, the Ark was a constant reminder of the covenant established by God at Mount Sinai. But why an ark? Well, storing the tablets of the law inside it suggests that obedience to divine law was central to the relationship between God and his people. It's as if God was saying, "My presence is with you, but remember the pact we made." That's a lesson that resonates even today, isn't it? Here's something fascinating. The ark was also seen as tangible proof of God's love and justice. While the cherubim on its lid represented heavenly guardians, the mercy seat, the lid itself, was where divine mercy was revealed. During Yom Kippur, the blood sprinkled their symbolized atonement for sins. In other words, the ark demonstrated that God is just, yet merciful. It's a powerful duality. Another intriguing point is how the ark teaches us about God's closeness and distance. It was a symbol of presence, but with clear restrictions. No one could touch it or look directly at it. Why? Because God's holiness was so intense that no human could withstand it. It's a lesson about respect and reverence for the sacred, something we often overlook in our daily lives. But the burning question remains: what happened to the ark? Its disappearance isn't just a historical mystery, but also a theological enigma. Did God hide it to protect its sanctity? Or maybe its absence serves as a reminder that the true covenant lies in hearts, not physical objects? This question leads us to the next topic: the theories and legends surrounding the ark's whereabouts. The ark's disappearance, theories and legends. The Ark of the Covenant is one of humanity's greatest mysteries. After all, how could something so central to biblical history simply vanish? It's as if the artifact was swallowed by the sands of time, leaving behind only questions. The Bible doesn't explicitly mention what happened to the ark after Solomon's temple was destroyed, opening the door to countless theories, some rooted in ancient texts, others pure speculation. One popular hypothesis suggests that the ark was hidden by priests before the Babylonian invasion around 587 BC. According to this theory, it was taken to a secret location, possibly beneath the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. Some believe that modern excavations in the area might be close to uncovering the Arkansas. But is it still there untouched? Or was it moved again to safeguard its secret? Another fascinating legend points to Ethiopia. Have you heard of the Church of St. Mary of Zion? Located in Aksum, this church is guarded by a single monk whose lifelong duty is to protect the Ark of the Covenant. According to Ethiopian tradition, the Ark was taken there by King Solomon's son, Menelik I, born of his union with the Queen of Sheba. Could it be true? No one is allowed inside the church to verify, but Ethiopians take this story very seriously. If you're intrigued by archaeological mysteries, here's another theory. The Ark might be hidden somewhere in Africa, possibly in underground caves in Zimbabwe. This idea comes from accounts of local tribes who claim to guard ancestral secrets about a sacred artifact. Though it sounds unlikely, Africa is a continent full of archaeological surprises. Of course, some believe the Ark was taken off Earth, hidden by divine or extraterrestrial forces. Sounds like science fiction, doesn't it? But this theory reflects the cultural impact of the Ark, far beyond religion. Movies like Raiders of the Lost Ark show how it continues to capture people's imagination. What's most intriguing is that despite all these theories, no concrete evidence about the Ark's whereabouts has ever been found. But that only adds to its allure. It's this blend of history, faith, and mystery that makes the Ark an endless source of fascination. In the next topic, we'll explore how this legend lives on in modern culture, inspiring movies, books, and even conspiracy theories. Cultural impact and modern references. Even though it has been missing for centuries, the Ark of the Covenant remains a powerful symbol in popular culture. It's amazing how something lost to history can have such a prominent presence in cinema, literature, and even music. Take Raiders of the Lost Ark, the classic Steven Spielberg film. That movie reignited global fascination with the Ark, blending adventure and mystery in an electrifying way. In literature, the Ark frequently appears as well. Books like The Ark Conspiracy by Thomas Lords delve into theories about its location with action-packed and suspenseful narratives. What's fascinating is that even in fictional stories, the Ark is treated with reverence, as though its power is real. This demonstrates the emotional impact it has. Reading about the Ark feels like unraveling a mystery that could change the course of history, and who doesn't love that? We can't ignore how the Ark influences religious and spiritual imagination. In churches and temples, it is often used as a metaphor for divine presence. Even in gospel music and sermons, the Ark is remembered as a symbol of the covenant between God and his people. It teaches us that, even in uncertain times, spiritual connection is something we can always seek. Doesn't that sound like a universal lesson? But the Ark isn't only about religiosity. In pop culture, it symbolizes mystery and untapped power. Action movies and sci-fi stories like Indiana Jones use the Ark to explore the idea of forces beyond human understanding. Even video games like Assassin's Creed play with the concept that artifacts like the Ark hold ancient secrets. Who would have thought it could still feel so relevant after centuries? And here's something even more fascinating. The Ark has a conspiratorial side. Some people believe that governments or secret organizations are searching for it, or have already found it and are keeping it hidden. These theories may sound far-fetched, but they highlight how the Ark continues to spark curiosity and debate. It's as if, even unseen, it casts a shadow over our world. Now that we've understood the Ark's cultural impact, the bigger question is, what does it teach us about humanity and ourselves? Let's reflect on this in the final topic, tying all these threads together. After all, the Ark is more than a lost object. It's an invitation to explore the unknown and understand our own fascination with mystery. The relevance of the Ark today. The Ark of the Covenant, though missing, carries a timeless message. Think about it. Why does something unseen for thousands of years still captivate us? The answer lies in what it represents. The Ark is more than a historical artifact. It's a powerful symbol of covenant, mystery, and faith. More importantly, it challenges us to reflect on our own relationship with the divine, history, and even the unknown. In today's world, dominated by technology and science, we often push spirituality aside. Yet the Ark story reminds us that behind all our logic, we still crave the transcendent. It's as if the Ark silently whispers that, deep down, we all seek something greater, be it God, purpose, or answers to life's mysteries. It connects us to this universal search. There's another key lesson: the value of covenant. The Ark symbolized the bond between God and his people. But more broadly, it reminds us of the promises we make to ourselves and others. Think about it. How often do we break commitments or stray from our goals? The Ark story inspires us to honor those commitments and cherish what is sacred, whether in faith or human relationships. On the other hand, the Ark's disappearance also teaches an important truth. Not everything needs to be seen to be real. In an era demanding evidence for everything, the Ark defies this mindset. Its impact doesn't rely on its physical presence. Like the wind we can't see but feel, the Ark reminds us that the invisible can be as powerful as the visible. And then there's the mystery. The Ark challenges us to embrace the unknown, to seek answers, and to accept that some questions may never be resolved. After all, much of life is a mystery, and perhaps that's what makes it so fascinating. So, as we wonder where the Ark is or if it will ever be found, perhaps the most important thing is what it awakens within us: curiosity, faith, and an unrelenting drive to keep exploring. The journey doesn't end here. The Ark of the Covenant leaves us with more questions than answers, but that's part of its magic. Are you ready to dive into other great mysteries of humanity? Let's keep exploring together.